Kia ora and welcome to another episode of Singers Having Coffee. I'm really excited to have you here because Singers Having Coffee has been reborn. My name's Zoe Stebe. Actually, I should have really introduced myself. My name's Zoe Stebe. I'm your host. And Singers Having Coffee has been reborn. I started this podcast about 2 to 3 years ago. And it originally started off as a podcast teaching you more about vocal technique. Like I'm not sure. There are definitely other people in this world that are just as obsessed about vocal technique as I am, but that's where this podcast kind of was born out of. I was like, I'm going to teach more through this medium of podcasting. And then through this journey of meeting with some of the most incredible people in the world of singing, it's morphed into this beautiful podcast talking with singers about their journeys. And that's why I sort of decided to reimagine the podcast and change it a little bit. Have those conversations again with those same people if I've decided to re-record, but also to change the journey to sort of, I think there's a lot to be said through conversations about the world of music and performance and singing. And that's what I want this podcast to be about, because I realized actually when people ask me about this podcast, I say like, this is 100% my passion project. Like I'm just obsessed with sitting down with, I'm really honored to know the people that I sit with in this podcast. And I'm really excited to share that with you. So here's me back introducing my podcast. But in today's episode, I just want to talk a little bit about kind of my journey, where I'm at the moment and where that's kind of taken me a little bit. And as I said, this podcast is away from talking about vocal technique. And I think we're seeing through the medium of social media a lot more behind the scenes of people's worlds, but it's not really in like this long form of like really having sit down conversations with people. And I think through my YouTube channel, where I do vocal analyses and breakdowns of people's vocal techniques, I am seeing, we're taking a snapshot and we're looking at like that one performance and that one moment and that one time on stage. And firstly, there's so much misinformation about performers out there, and there's like lots of lies, but there is this whole journey that's gone before. And that I think is where the gold is. I mean, it's obviously fantastic they've put in all of this work and like got to this moment that they're standing up on stage, and it's like this 3 minutes of this, like, I don't know, in some cases like a 40-year career, right? Like I think the 40 years is almost more interesting than that 3 minutes on stage. I mean, for me personally, but also those 40 years inform those 3 minutes on stage. And I know that not a single one of obviously we see all these things of like actors and actresses and singers and things talking about songs they've passed up on, that's their biggest regret, blah, blah, blah. But they, in the end, wouldn't want to change any of their journey because it's informing who they are and it's made them who they are today. So I wouldn't want to change anything about my journey. Obviously, there are frustrations and annoyances and things like that. So I'll just take it from a snapshot of where I am, because I kind of felt like when I was like, I'm going to talk about my journey, I'm like, oh my God, like, where have I been? I feel like I need an interviewer for that. Actually, I do have that all set up. My cousin is an amazing radio presenter. So she's going to be interviewing me for the podcast to talk about that and kind of my journey. And I'd love to see where that goes because I like love my cousin. So that's going to be coming up. That's already planned in the pipeline. But I've been through a bit of a journey actually recently where I got my tongue tie released. And if you've been listening before into other episodes that are coming up, you'll see that I talk quite a lot about like vocal struggles with other performers. And I talk with Jessica Luffy specifically because she's been my myofunctional therapist, and we talk about the difficulties of tongue tie. Now I mean, my voice is like this because, of course, the day that I plan to record my podcast is the day that I also needed to record 5 songs for an audition, and I've had a sinus infection all week. So excuse the huskiness, but I've just decided to like blaze forward because this is just what happens, and this is on the program for today. But this, I'm like, what, we're in April. I got my tongue tie released in October, I think, and I was suffering really, really badly from head and neck tension. Like, I look back on performances. I actually for this band that I'm just auditioning for now, through that I just had to record the tracks for. I sent them some recordings, and I was like, of last performances over the last like 2 years, and I was cringing. I was cringing because of how out of tune I'd gotten at the end. But I was blaming my out of tuneness like a lot of the time on me, on my technique that I didn't really practice very much. But the problem was with like tongue tie, and I'm not going to go into like all of that because that's a separate conversation altogether, but it's like a bit of chicken and egg. You don't want to practice because it sounds really bad and it feels really uncomfortable, but you also need to practice because it sounds really bad and it's out of tune. So it's like this never ending cycle where you like don't really practice because it's painful, but then you need to practice and you don't. Yeah. So a couple of these performances, they sounded really fucking bad. Like, I have to be honest, they sounded really out of tune. And I sent them through, and I was like, guys, I'm 6 months in. My voice has changed so much, like, give me a chance. And they've decided to. So I'm like, I'm grabbing a bull by the horn, sinus infection or not. I'm recording those songs, and I'm getting them out there, even though it's probably not vocally the best option. But like, if this was and this is also like a thing, unfortunately, if it was like a live performance, and like a lot of the time you get invited to auditions, if there was a live audition today, that's just what would be the snapshot of today. So it's done, and we'll see what happens. So watch the space. I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated with what happens. I'm really excited. This band is amazing. So 6 months in, and I think I've been through every emotion I could cry right now. Because like all of a sudden, for the first time in, oh man, I think like 20 years, my voice is the voice that I knew. It's so weird when you have this voice that you have in your mind, you have this color, you have this like timbre, you have this sound, you have this feeling of your voice, and then it like disappears out of your reach. And then it's like, it's gone, and you think like, oh my God, I'm like not that person that I was, and this voice sounds really foreign to you. And then all of a sudden, this voice, and this happened like literally like the week I had a gig. I got my tongue tie released on the Friday, and then exactly a week later on the Friday I had a gig, and I sang for worst decision of my life. But I didn't care because I was just like, this was the voice that I had missed, and it was back again. And it was such an incredible experience. And obviously it's now gone through all of the healing process, and Jessica did warn me, not warn me, but like said to me it would take about 6 months to like properly heal, and it has. I'm so excited. So I'm really, really pumped to do more singing. And this wasn't the plan to get this emotional, but it's really, really emotional. It's been a really emotional journey, I have to say, because I really hated my voice for a while there. And I really disliked it, and I didn't enjoy my performing, and I've been in some really fucking cool shows over the last couple of years. Like, since I got back into performing in 2020, I kind of made the decision to like really get back into it. And I've done some really amazing shows, and like been the lead in a couple of like incredible musicals, and I was really unable to enjoy any of it. I was unhappy with my singing. I was so unhappy with the way I sounded. I did not like it. And now I said that like most singers like wouldn't regret what they'd gone through. I fucking regret that. I'm pissed. I'm really, really, really pissed that people didn't tell me about this. It wasn't known before, and it wasn't, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm excited. This is like a new chapter. This didn't need to become like a educational about tongue tie, but I wanted to just like update you where I am at. So yeah, 6 months into recovery, and my voice is like, it's free, it's fantastic. I am practicing like for the most I've ever practiced in my entire life. And no, that's a lie. I used to practice a lot when I was at university. I need to really catch myself when I say these sorts of things. I used to practice a lot before I started to experience really bad issues with my tongue tie. I'm catching myself in those things because I kind of sometimes exaggerate, and I really like catching myself for that. So no, I didn't. I used to practice a lot, and I'd practice to a point where like I would lose my voice actually. Like it would sound like this, but I've got a sinus infection. That's why it sounds like this. And that was all down to tongue tie, unfortunately, which is why I was like losing my voice at the end of practicing due to the tension. So yeah, I'm in a completely different space. Yay therapy and lots of coaching, and yay yay for mental health professionals. And yeah, this is it's a journey. I'm excited about singing, excited about auditioning for some really, really cool bands. I'm going in some really awesome directions at the moment. Zoe, I didn't really want this to be about, do you know what? Sometimes we're allowed to be really, really excited about where we are. On the matter of where we are, I just wanted to say to you that I think all of us singers, and this has been something that like I've interviewed some really, really fun people and amazing people on this podcast, and I've grown as a presenter, I've grown as a performer, grown as everything, like incredible. And one thing that's really like the thread throughout all of them is we've all kind of struggled with something, and we've all really struggled with self-doubt. We've all struggled with self-doubt and thinking that we were terrible and thinking that we weren't good. And I'm talking about some incredible singers here. And a lot of us have kind of given up because unfortunately there are not a lot of people out there. Now it's kind of becoming a little bit more present, but there are not a lot of people out there who are genuinely coaching performers about how to like deal with the mental load of singing. And performing and putting yourself out there, and imposter syndrome and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of where I'm going. Like that's where my journey is taking me. I've just finished a certification to become a life coach because I want to be more informed, like not only for myself, but also for my students, and also helping more singers to be more resilient, but also to learn how to deal with their thoughts and feelings. And to circle back around, this is what I wish that I had when I was younger. So this is the podcast. This podcast is really that podcast that I wish that I had needed. And this is for little Zoe. I could cry again. This is for little Zoe. But I know that there are lots of little Zoes out there. Not that I have any children, but... There are lots of people out there who think that they aren't very good. I teach quite a few of them who are incredible singers who just think they're not very good. There are lots of singers out there who are struggling with tongue tie, who don't know that they have it. There are lots of singers out there who go out for auditions and don't get it again and again and again and again and again. And there are lots of singers out there who experience the experiences that I've experienced, because we're unique because we're ourselves, but the experiences that we have are not really unique, honestly. And that's like the whole point of this podcast, is to kind of chat shit with other singers about their journeys and to show you that you're not alone. That's really what I wanted to get at. So I can't help thinking, you are not alone. I am plastic too. Where did that come from? Anyway, whatever. You're going to be introduced to a whole bunch of singing stuff. Singers, random songs. I'm excited. I'm excited for where I'm at actually now with my voice. So yeah. Just want to give you permission that if you are frustrated or like not in a great place with your singing or whatever, you're allowed to be frustrated. You're allowed to be annoyed. You're allowed to be pissed off. But like do something about it. Like go and get help for it. Yeah, whether that's I actually know of a fantastic platform, and I am not an affiliate, okay? BetterHelp. I think that's what it's called. I'll place links down below. If you are really struggling mentally with your singing or whatever, message me. I'd love to help you out as well. Because one thing is for sure through all of the journey of the singers, a lot of what we've gone through could have been cut short of, like the pain and the annoyance could have been largely avoided by having better training when we were at university or like in our younger years with our mental health. So we want to help you. I want to help you. I'll put some notes down in the show notes and in the description about how you can get some help. So yeah, God, this podcast today did a really big zigzag, but I'm not gonna keep on banging on. I want to let you know where we're at, and I'm really excited about this podcast. Got some incredible people. As I say, you're going to see, like, it's going to be a bit random because you're going to see, I mean, if you're listening, awesome, because you're listening kind of backwards, right? I've gone, this is me in 3 years in the future, and you're going to start then with like episode 3 is 3 years ago, which is really, really cool. It's going to look a bit different. It's going to look, you know, cameras, whatever, lights, but it's still the same thing, still the same message. It's timeless. So that's really, really cool. And then we can continue on because I know some really amazing people. I know some absolutely incredible singers, and I'm so amped to share that, like to have them share their journeys with you. And I just get to sit here and ask questions, and that's all I'm going to do. So, mwah! Just remember, you're amazing. You are not alone. If you need any help, send me a message. I'm here to support you in your singer's journey. So have an awesome rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next episode. Ka kite anō.